So the marketing planner, I just did a little kind of today's version of it for you, for those of you who are not familiar. And on page 14, actually, let me go to page 14. If you haven't seen it, there's a video here that shows how to work it. And so I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but I am going to show how some people are using it. Because one thing that I notice is that a lot of people seem to get stuck on this income section, right? So for every month, you're going to put what your target market is that you're aiming for. So I just put here biotech as an example. That's a pretty good one right now. And then income goal setting. What are you looking for? And again, this is where people get stuck. I don't know, how much money can I make? This is where you guess. This is where you estimate. This is where you dream. Here's what I want. 4 projects at $2,500, 4 projects at $10,000. Whatever it is you want, you put that here. Don't let this stop you. Income goal tracking is where you put what you're depositing, basically. If you deposited $3,000 on the 11th, that's what you put there. You're just keeping track of what comes in. Then in this newish top prospects section, these are the people, your top prospects are the people you have had the money conversation with, have submitted a proposal to maybe even, but these are the best people. This is your accelerator when it's time to go get some new business. This is the list that you go to. These are the people that you know already are interested and may be ready. The timing might be right? You need to keep those people top of mind more than anything. And you'll notice I'm not filling absolutely everything in, right? You don't have to fill absolutely everything in. Page 2, the 3 marketing tools, strategic networking. And I remind you all that with these little question marks, there's a link to a video that you can watch if you're not exactly sure, if you've forgotten what these things are. A lot of people, because face-to-face networking is not happening right now, although in some places it is. I know someone who went to a BNI meeting last week and thought it was a little scary because people were hugging each other, but that is what's happening. If you're not into that yet, then you can do these lunch club meetings. And I know some people on the call have been to the lunch club. So if you have the link for that and you want to put it in the chat, please do. But these are apparently like matchmaking. They match you with someone and you have a little chat with them. And hopefully you stay in touch. Maybe you learn something, but I know several people who are doing several of these a week. So I highly recommend it. And in this section here, you are following up with one-on-one networking buddies. So maybe here last month's Zoom partner from the monthly office hours, you're going to follow up with, or maybe you put this month's partner, right? Get their contact information, find them on LinkedIn, connect with them, right? So who are you going to follow up with? Targeted outreach, you may remember, is when you identify your ideal clients, and I'm saying here 5 to 10 new ones every month, and you reach out to them on LinkedIn, through email, through the snail mail, all of the above. So maybe you have a directory. I know someone in the room is using a directory from the ASID to reach out to interior designers. That's just one way to find your top prospects for your targeted outreach. And then content marketing. Content marketing is the third tool to focus on. If you do nothing else, I do think you should be doing some kind of newsletter, which is more letter than news. And I wanted to show you an example here from Brave Design. So I'll come back to that. And maybe you also have a blog. You can keep track of what your topic is, what the pain point is. Do you have a supporting sample? Did you promote it via social media? People love checking off boxes, feel free. And then there's guest blogging. So creating your own content, and it goes on the places online where other people that you're trying to reach need to see it. And I will show you an example of that too. And then the last page, website updates. This is keeping track of what you want to change on your website. I think I'm going to add a new testimonial that someone just gave me in my email. And then a wild card, and I put the example here. If you have a podcast idea to pitch to me, please do. Why not? That's how I find the ideas for my podcast. In fact, the one that I posted today is with Janine Davis. I don't think Janine is here with us today, but she came to me recently and she said, I've had a situation. I can't be the only one struggling with this. I'd love to talk to you about it. And I said, it's a perfect idea for a podcast episode. And we did it. and I posted it this morning. So I will share that also actually in the follow-up to this, right? So that's a wild card. So that's your marketing plan. That's it. That's how it works. All right, let me just show you a couple excellent examples, and then I will open it up and people can ask questions of me or Terry about anything. So let's see, I'm gonna share my screen again, and I'm gonna go over here, and I'm gonna go over here. Okay, here is the email newsletter that I wanted to share. This is from Brave and Co Design. I've shared this in a couple of my small coaching groups this week because I love it. Design for Good Digest, it's called. So she focuses on nonprofits and organizations that are doing good. And she says, dear reader, it's been a rough week for this idealist. So this is a nice way to reference what's happening without necessarily making a statement about it, but just acknowledging that something is happening. It's been a rough week for this idealist. Sadly, it's been even rougher for many, many more people. Since I live in the sticks, I'm pretty removed from it all. If you're in the same boat and are interested in donating, Crooked Media, whose design is pretty fantastic too, has a lot of organizations here. So she's sharing a link and a resource. Then the bad news is that we have a ton of work to do. The good news is that there are a lot of organizations out there working for change. One area I have a fondness for, probably because I'm a girl mom, is women's and girls empowerment. And since I've been looking at a lot of organizations that work in that arena, I thought I'd share one of my favorite logos. So she's a designer who's about to deconstruct a logo to show what she knows. In case you forgot, an effective logo is simple, memorable, timeless, versatile, appropriate. And then here's the one she's deconstructing and analyzing, and again, showing how she sees it as a designer. It's called Educate Girls. She says, this logo immediately struck me. It's for a nonprofit that focuses on girls' education in India's rural areas. So the first thing I want to say about this is that you could use this type of opportunity to feature or highlight an organization that you think is important, whether it's related to what's happening right now or whatever happens next month, right? You can just use this. This is not a piece of work she did. She loves the organization. She loves their logo. She's featuring it. I love how the designer created a mark that is unmistakably a girl with just one line and two little bows. The oh so slight curves of the pigtails and different sizes of the hair sections gives it a sweetness that is incredibly endearing. The copy is a simple sans serif in lowercase, which is appropriate for an organization dedicated to youth, and the dark gray and bright red color palette is simple, striking, and fun. I love how they reinforced it with the red dot over the eye. So she's pointing out things that I, who am not a designer, would not notice otherwise, right? And so she's teaching me also how to look at something like this. I also love the 12 years graphic pictured below. It works well with the logo and infuses a hands-on feel to the branding. I wish they'd used it more throughout their website, which honestly is not quite as fabulous as their logo is. I think that's actually a nice way to say, and here's where I might be able to help them, right? It's kind of a backhanded, but not critical way of saying things could be better. I may be able to help them. All right, and then she also has this calendar. So here's the June calendar. You can download it here. She has her call to action, and here's who she is, and then her section about why you're getting this, right? Just really simple. I said to her, this is, you never have to come up with an idea for an email newsletter again. This is a series. Just keep choosing a logo that you want to deconstruct and an organization you want to raise awareness about, and just put it out there every month. Your content marketing is done. All right, that's one example. Then I promised a guest blog. So this is from Conrad. I've shared some of Conrad's content before. He's a copywriter in the transportation and logistics industry. So he is a member of, and actually on the marketing committee for the TMSA, Transportation Marketing and Sales Association. He's the only copywriter in this organization. He's the only one. And you know what? They spend all their money on trade shows and exhibits. And guess what? They're not doing that right now. So they're reallocating their travel budget to content, and he's getting a lot of that work. All right? That's how things are changing. So not all of them have a big budget. He wrote for their blog an article called Do It Yourself Writing Tips for Marketers Forced to Do More with Less. And then he basically says, here's how I do what I do, right? No one's going to be able to do it without him, right? But he's saying, he's showing what he knows, he's showing his expertise, and he's acknowledging that things are a little difficult right now. I'm not giving up my work. Here's how to do it. But of course, right, you can click on that and find his website if you want help, right? So this is going in front of the people who need his help, and they would never find their way to his blog, right? He is actually going to put a version of it on his blog, but this is more valuable than anything on his blog.